Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Carly from Beach Life Studio, and in today's video I thought I'd share a full process of how I draw on Procreate. So if you are new to my channel, I do a lot of videos around drawing on the iPad, so if it's something you like then maybe consider subscribing. So let's jump straight into Procreate, and by the way I use the iPad Pro 12.9 inch for my drawings. As you can see here, I did do a little jacket and also some glasses on this girl, but then I felt like it was a bit too much and I thought I'd just keep it simple and just do like a portrait. So I took that away, and these are the colour palettes that I was figuring out. So I decided to go with the middle colour palette just because it stood out to me a little bit more. So I'm just lowering the opacity of the sketch layer so I can see what I'm doing a little bit better, and I'm making a new layer underneath that for the skin. And I'm just using one of my own custom brushes, which is a new sketch pack brush pack that I'm actually working on at the moment. So if it's available I will link it below, but at the moment I'm just still kind of tweaking things. So anyway, I'm just using that brush to apply the skin layer, and I've just colour picked that from the little colour palette that I had. And I thought I'd leave this whole video in like real time, so let me know if you like that or whether you like to see more time-lapse sped up versions of the video. And if you were wondering, I am wearing one of those big oversized like hoodie things. I think they're called hoodies. But it's really cute. It's actually got all these little dogs on, and it's pink and it's so cozy. It's actually been raining constantly today out there, so but anyway, I'm just making another layer now for the hair, and I'm just doing the same. So at the moment I'm just applying all the base like flat colors, so that the skin, the hair, and yeah, that's actually pretty much it for this drawing because there's not much else going on. So once that's all done, I'm going to make a new layer above the hair, and I'm going to set this to clipping mask by clicking the layer again to bring up the list, and I'm going to select clipping mask. This means that that layer is going to be clipped to the hair layer now, so anything that you draw on that layer will not go outside the hair. And this is where I'm going to do the ombre part of the hair. So I've used the soft airbrush for this, which you can find under airbrushing, which is in Procreate, and I'm just going to apply a little bit of ombre pink to the ends of the hair basically. And then next I'm going to make another layer for the eyes, and I'm just lowering the skin here just so I can see what I'm drawing a little bit better, which I don't know why I did actually, because I'm realising it didn't really make a difference. But anyway, moving on. And then I'm going to make another new layer for the eyelashes. I'm just using one of my sketch brushes for the lashes, and it's actually one that I named Butter, just because it's a little bit smoother than the other ones. So I don't know, Butter just came to mind. Don't know if it's a good name or not, but yeah. And also I'm actually trying out a new way of drawing lashes at the moment, which I'm really liking. Feel like they give a little bit more of a cartoony look. And then I'm going to make another new layer for like the iris part of the eye, and then on top of that another new layer for the pupils. And then I ended up changing the colour of them slightly, and as I selected this layer, because it's on colour fill at the bottom there, it actually changed it straight to the colour that was selected in the colour palette, which is a really fast way of changing colours, by the way, if you didn't know. So now on a new layer again for the earrings. So I simply just drag the colour from the top right corner into the flower, hold the pen still, and then it will fill it in. And as you can see at the very top line, there's a threshold. So if you keep your pen on the canvas, you can drag your pen across the canvas to make sure that it's filled in like all the white areas. So once the earrings are done, I'm just going to move on to the little background. So I'm just making a box, and as I'm drawing the lines, I'm holding the pen still until it snaps into like a perfect line. And then I'm just going to drag and drop the colour in to fill the box in. And then I did do these little like neon kind of light blobs behind as well, but I didn't bother recording that because I actually removed those in the end, so that didn't even matter. I'm moving on to the line work now. So sometimes I actually do line work before the colour, but today I decided just to do it afterwards. So I'm just making a new layer above everything, and I'm just selecting the colour like of the skin and then darkening it slightly, and then just filling in the lines for like the nose area, the chin and all that sort of stuff. And then I'm just doing that again for the hair, so selecting the hair colour, darkening it slightly, and then just sort of going over all the lines just to start bringing the image together. So now I've done the lips and the eyebrows, I'm going to just select the eyebrow layer, and then with it on colour fill, I'm just going to use the colour grid to change the brow colour very slightly. And then I'm going to make a new layer above the skin, and I'm going to set this to clipping mask. And this is actually going to be for some blush, so I'm going to choose a reddish kind of tone colour, just going to guess whatever colour goes with it really. And I'm going to use the soft airbrush for this and just apply some blush to the cheeks, a little bit on the neck and a little bit on the forehead as well. I think this colour worked pretty well, so I just take the opacity down slightly though, just to make it a little bit more neutral. And now I'm going to make a new layer for shadows, and I'm just making this under the line layer. I'm going to choose like a light purplish colour for this, and I'm going to use the dry ink brush again, which is probably my most used Procreate brush actually, if it's not my own. And I'm just going to start applying the shadows to like underneath the neck, around the nose area, the eyes, just everywhere that I feel would cast a little bit of a shadow. And now I'm just going to change the layer to multiply, which is usually what I have my shadows on, just so it looks a little bit more subtle. And then I'm just adding shadows like to the hair and anywhere else on the image basically. And then I'm going to take the opacity down of the shadows layer just to wherever I feel looks a bit better. Next, I'm going to make another layer on top of that for the highlights, and I'm going to set this layer to overlay, and then using like a light yellow colour and using the soft airbrush again for this, I'm just going to apply some highlights just to the top of the hair, just where I feel like the light might be hidden. And also, as I did this, I accidentally had it on colour fill when I just selected the hair then, and I really liked the way it turned out, so I ended up keeping it to this lighter blonder colour. I do end up changing the colours quite a bit as I go with illustrations, like I don't always stick to my original idea because not everything always looks like good as you go along the process, you know. So anyway, I'm going to make another new layer again for some glow, and I'm choosing like almost white colour, and just going to use the dry ink brush. And then I did play around with the effects on this layer a little bit, but I think I ended up going back to normal, and then I just took the opacity down a little bit just so it looked a little bit more subtle, and then added a little bit more shine in her hair. Then I decided to darken the pupils a bit, so I just went to the adjustments layer and took the brightness down slightly. Then here you'll just see that I flipped the canvas around as I was just checking everything, and this is where I decided to take those polka dots away. And then I just took the opacity of the background down a little bit because I felt like it was a bit too harsh, the colour. And then I'm just making a new layer for some little stars and dots that I usually like to add to all my illustrations. So I'm just putting these around the image, and then I'm going to finish off with another layer, and that's where I'm going to add my logo. But I'm not quite finished yet, there's still a few more details that I am going to add. So now I'm just selecting all of my layers by swiping to the right, and then I'm going to group them all together, duplicate that group, and then flatten one of the groups. So now I've got a backup of all my layers, and then I'm just going to go to adjustments and curves and play around with the colours on that. And then if you tap your finger on the screen, you can just see it, like you can do a preview here of what it was before. And then I'm going to add some noise to just give it some more texture to the illustration. So as I zoom in here, you can see I brought the noise up to like about 10%. And then I also go back to the image and bring the noise up a little bit on there as well, just to give it some more texture. But I really hope that you've enjoyed watching the process, and thanks so much for watching until the end. I really appreciate it. Hope you liked the drawing, and I'll see you all in another video very soon. Bye!